Welcome to Redbeard Radio. I'm Brian Keith, and if you've listened for a while, you know I like to talk to people who have solved something 10,000 times. Now, today we have a special treat. We have a man who has helped 25,000 business owners go and solve their problems, and he has identified there's really only 12 problems you're facing as a business owner. And Ted Miller III is going to walk us through some of those and let us know how to go solve more of them. Welcome to the show, Ted.
Oh, thank you so very much for having me. I love this stuff. Let's kick butt.
I love it. I love simplifying all these problems. And what I learned when I was back in college forever ago, that no business is actually unique. Everyone feels they're unique. They're all wrong. And in working with 25,000 businesses, you've also found this, that actually no one's unique. We all have the same problems. What is the one biggest problem you found all these people have?
Well, there's a few that always come to the top. When people want clients, it's got to come up often enough that it's got to be said first, because people really love the sexy sauce. Meaning sexy sauce is like, what's going to move the needle? So that comes to the top. Yet you'd be surprised, based on certain economic situations, they might mention in spurts competition when you've got a declining financial crisis going on. 2007, probably competition was coming up there second to getting new clients. So whatever it is, right now, everyone's struggling how to get a hold of their ideal new prospective clients. They've all gone virtual since COVID, and their sales team's not been well prepared to do so over the phone. In fact, people can't even get anyone on the phone anymore because they don't know how to tackle that.
So getting people on the phone, that's one of the biggest challenges you're seeing happening now in 2021. What's the solution for that?
Well, sometimes it's so simple. I mean, really, Brian, just they've got to call twice, if not three times. So what that means is they used to have an assistant. They used to have an office. They used to have many different ways to reach it. Let's say a decision maker, if you're doing a B2B business to business sale. And now they're all working from home on a cell phone. So what happens is it rings once. Most smartphones, if you got a do not disturb option, it's not even going to ring through unless you double dial. So you have to call, listen to the voicemail looking for an alternative number, to jot it down, to hang up and hit redial, just to get the phone to actually take action. They look at the phone and they go, 50344, yeah, I don't know who that is. And they put it back down and they keep yapping with whoever they're yapping with, or doing emails, or whatever they're doing. And then by the third ring, it's now only actually ringing on the phone twice. And they go, oh, excuse me, Bob, this looks important. Yeah, hi, this is Ted. To whom am I speaking? And boom, the conversation's taken off. So fundamentally, tactically empowering your team, they're probably not measuring the KPI of number of dials. It's gone up. It easily doubled, if not tripled, just to get someone to have a conversation.
And if someone doesn't know that and they're relying on voice-to-voice sales,
they lie to themselves. This doesn't work. Seriously, I mean, of all the marketing methods on the planet, human to human has always been number one, and it always will be. And to pretend that it doesn't work is just being childish. It just means you've not been willing to innovate and create change and get ahead of the curve.
That's amazing. That's one of the 12 things that you find a lot. What's another one of your 12 big things that you're finding people are struggling with right now?
Well, I was saying people love the sexy sauce, which is, how can I double the size of my company in 12 months? Just things like that. How do I increase my sales? All that stuff. There's sexy things that do that. Like recruiting sales stars is something I've really mastered. I dialed that in. So I get a lot of people coming to me going, hey, I don't want to hire someone that promised me the moon and the stars, pay them a decent base salary, because that's what I think I need to do right now to win these great salespeople over, just to have them on my docket for 3 months and they haven't produced anything. But, long sales cycle, fourth, fifth month, they're like, well, I don't know, maybe it's COVID. 6 month in, they're like, why am I still paying this person? They promised me the moon and the stars and not putting up numbers. So I have a process in 2 to 10 minutes. You're going to be able to mitigate that and protect yourself from those that you waste 6 months and an abundance of your precious profits. Now I've got it to where you can find out if they've got the stuff in 2 to 10 minutes. Plus, I love helping people with compensation plans. So if they're not greedy and they pay out really well, you might be able to do that to where you're not paying any base. You can do that on pure commission. People think that's dead. They couldn't be further from the truth. So that's a fast growth strategy that comes up often. Have you ever read The Ultimate Sales Machine written by my late business partner, Chet Holmes, by any chance, Brian?
That sounds familiar, but I might be thinking about the Ultimate Sales Letter and some of Dan Kennedy's stuff.
Yeah. Ultimate Sales Machine, mega hit. Brilliant book. You know, it was real weird. He passed away 8 years ago, and they said, what was it, 58,000 copies of his books have been bought in just the last few years alone. Just to give you perspective, most books, I mean, if they're good books that have gone to the market, are lucky to sell 5,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to do 10x that after you're long dead, it's because it's a great copy. So anyone who reaches out to me all over tedmiller3.com, that's my name, Ted Miller the third. So tedmiller3.com, you have contact talk with Teds. I'll send them that chapter for free. And it basically says people are going to be 9 times more likely to want to learn something of great value to themselves than never already hear you sell them anything. And people see that. They get excited. They get Gary Vaynerchuk in there and they go, okay, I'm going to do content-based marketing. And they really miss the mark, Brian. That what they end up doing is taking a prospect, they listen to their podcast, they hear some great insight, and they go to whoever they're already doing business with now and say, hey, I heard them say this, I heard them say that, and I heard them say this. Can you do that too? And they say, yes, we can, which you know is a lie, Brian. They say, yes, we can do that. We can do that. We can do that. And they end up spending more money with who they're already doing business with. That's not what that book was about or what we were trained on. I say we because I partnered with him until his passing and we did $100 million in business coaching consulting. And if you can learn education based marketing and learn how to put it into your sales cycle, boy, you can have such a fantastic rate of return. We chose to do it virtually, Brian. So that's one of the fast growth strategies. And then targeting your ideal better buyer. Some call it a Dream 100 strategy, ideal client strategy, better client strategy, whatever you want to call it. It's whale hunting and really mastering that those are all move the needle fast, like double your sales in 12 months fast kind of approaches.
How do you teach whale hunting?
Well, creativity's, I think, a linchpin there. Most people are boring. My clients, they send me their stuff. And so today I'm looking at this package and it was fun. I mean, it's got a little stress ball in there and I like it. That made it a bulk email. But the language is blah, 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 cliche, cliche, cliche. People have just lost creativity. Sometimes they don't find a way to go all in. They think if I'm targeting these whales, I got the best idea. Let's find a way to spend the least amount of money to grab their attention. Brian, if they're the ones that are going to make you the most amount of money, shouldn't they be the ones you spend the most amount of money on or most amount of time on?
Huh?
And so here's what's beautiful. When you're marketing to almost everybody, but you market only to your top 100, you're fewer clients to target. So you have more money to target them with.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, this entire endeavor would be less expensive, but most people, they wing it. To answer that question, they're going to fail because they wing it. And if they succeed, it's because they've taken the time to be a strategist and they thought through it. They thought through it months in advance of what they're going to send to stay in their space, in their face, in their place.
Man, I feel like I have a dozen hours of research and follow up just from 10 minutes of talking to you. Like, oh man, each of these things, I clearly need to spend a month studying all your materials on there.
I wrote a book.
What's your book?
The word webinar. See, I'm hesitating because I'm going to sound like a jerk when I say it out loud, but someone has to coin a phrase.
Yes.
So we coined the phrase webinar. So that's just the thing that happened. And in fact, the very first time it was ever put in print and emailed out was through Jay Abraham. So Jay Abraham was our JV partner at the time, and we thought he was going to be our guru and be the face of our brand, but he didn't. He left, and we built it around Chet. But anyhow, he listened to this workshop that I do. Instead of doing webinars where you're talking to many people and you're doing seminars, we needed to do it virtually because when 9/11 hit, I just saw the effect of needing to be able to make money from anywhere over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So we pioneered it, and it used to be web seminars.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got sick of saying web seminar, so it turned into webinar, and we only ever said it internally, never put it in a marketing piece. Well, Jay Abraham didn't know any different. He listened to me do the thing for 2.5 hours. He wrote an 11-page write-up. It was a monster, long copy write-up for my workshop. And I said webinar, so he used a webinar. It's the first time I ever saw it in writing. Well, now the whole world calls it a webinar, but they made it this horrible, desperate sales pitch.
Oh,
They forgot how to set a buying criteria in their favor. Most don't even know what I mean. I could describe it in an instant. I don't know how old you are because you got a baby face, but you have no hair. So I don't know if you have no hair because of your age or like you chose to shave it. But do you remember Domino's Pizza when they rolled out, or is that too old?
I don't remember when they first rolled out. I read in the history books about the whole 30
Okay,
minutes.
fine. Now I know how old you are. Fine, fine, fine. So now we all know how old I am.
There's white in my beard, okay? Not a lot of white, but some.
Yeah, okay. So my point was, I'm from Chicago. I'd do a deep dish pizza, go to Illuminati's. That'd be great. Aurelio's locally, and I'd want some pizza. But no one wanted to miss Walter Payton high stepping it for a touchdown. So my father came up with this fun rule. The rule said, if I buy, you fly.
Uh-huh.
Well, I buy means if I pay for the pizza,
Yep.
you have to get in the car and drive to go pick the damn pizza up.
Yep.
So as a kid, I don't want to pay. So I spent way more time driving,
Uh-huh.
missing the high step touchdown because back in the day, we didn't record games. You didn't have
Uh-huh.
you just don't hit rewind. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
dating myself here.
Kids these days have no idea how hard it was back then.
Yeah, back then to watch just a game. So what's my point? They set a new buying criteria, which said they'll deliver it in 30 minutes, guaranteed, or it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And that set a new buying criteria. I didn't buy based on quality of ingredients and beautiful product. I ended up eating a cardboard pizza. It was crap. It sucked. But you know what? I didn't have to leave the home. And most people have yet to take the time to look at how do you set a buying criteria in your favor. And that's why I love education-based marketing. If you educate people on your unique selling propositions, they'll know they can't go to their current vendor, assuming you're a vendor, and say, hey, can you do this stuff too? Instead, it goes, well, it needs to look like this and it needs to look like that and looks like this. And no one looks like ABC. Those are your unique selling propositions. Once you learn to do that, you can take over the world. And I don't know why more people don't do it.
I love it. So to discuss buying criteria in more detail, it's tedmiller3.com. Is that the number 3 or is that 3 I's?
That's the digit 3. Yeah, I tried the I because it's Roman numeral 3, but then it looks like Ted Millery.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Ted Miller 3.
Ted Miller with 2 L's and then the number 3. Folks, if you want to discuss buying criteria and how it can apply to your business or anything else Ted talked about here, or Chet Holmes' book or anything else, that's where to go. And Ted, where are you most active on social media?
LinkedIn, I'm probably heavily there. Run ads on Facebook, so we're there, but that's more pictures of my family, less about the business, and Ted Miller 3, that's / Ted Miller 3, and you can find me. Pretty much all my handles, from podcasts, blogs, you name it. When in doubt, they just type in Ted Miller digit 3. That's typically me.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time today, Ted.
I greatly appreciate you, my brother.